EFPIA and its members are committed to working together to create a healthier Europe for the future. Well, joining me in the studio to talk further about EFPIA's vision, I'm delighted to welcome EFPIA Director General, Nathalie Moll. Very good to see you. Thank you very much for coming in and talking to me. Now, the name of this programme is We Won't Rest, which is also the name of your campaign, Striving for Excellence. Can you tell me a bit more about it?
Well, thank you so much also for the wonderful programme, Natasha, and it's a pleasure to be here. Basically, we've had the most amazing advances over the last few years in the science and in the products and the therapies that we're delivering to patients. For example, if you look at something like HIV that used to be a death sentence in the 80s, it's now a manageable disease thanks to therapies. Or even in cancer, we've had sort of 2 in 3 patients now live more than 5 years, and there's been a drop in mortality of about 20% since the 90s in cancer. And then we have the first cures coming up. So hepatitis C, you know, for the millions of patients affected by it, today there are actually cures out there. And We Won't Rest is really our story. It's sharing the passion and dedication of all those people in the pharmaceutical industry who are dedicated to researching, finding those initial molecules. It's about a 10,000 to 1 odds, actually. You start with 10,000 and you might get one product at the end. And going through those 15 years of research and development then to deliver that therapy. And so that's really the idea. We've had from CEOs to lab technicians explaining why they do what they do and what really their ultimate goal is, what they won't rest until they've found. And it's very exciting and it's beautiful really to see that dedication and that excitement.
So it's, as you've highlighted, a very exciting time to be part of your sector. You've highlighted a lot of the huge advances that you've made already. I'm thinking about gene and cell therapy, the huge developments in treatments for Alzheimer's. But there are a lot of challenges on the horizon. So if you were to look forward 5 years, what would your key challenges be? What would you say?
I think that basically, as you said, advances have been incredible, cracking the human genome, getting to the underlying cause of disease. We used to just treat symptoms. And today we can understand the underlying cause of disease, which is often all genetic, and we can try and start treating that. So you have examples of cell therapy like CAR-T, which many have discussed lately. We found a cure for blood cancers, which is one of the most serious cancers in children, where we take out the cells from a patient's body, we transform them so that they are able themselves to attack the tumor once they're re-injected into the patient, which is incredible if you can picture that. And then gene therapy will be the answer for some of these hereditary diseases like hemophilia, where the patient has a lifetime of suffering and may actually be able to go back to working normally and being much less in and out of hospitals as it is today. On Alzheimer's, all sort of degenerative brain diseases, dementias are incredibly burdensome on society, on healthcare systems, on patients who are learning, all of us who are living longer lives. And they're always the most complex. So anything to do with brain is very complex. And it's an area where industry is partnering with itself, so companies working together, but also with academia and research institutes to try and crack the nut and put together data and information on patients with these different forms of dementia to really progress the science that is difficult.
Brexit is on the horizon. Of course, that brings with it a whole series of challenges. How do you ensure that patients across Europe have the same access to medical care?
Well, you're right. Brexit is looming. It's coming up very soon. And our sector is quite unique because our products are actually there to support patients and their families, and so we cannot afford any level of disruption or interruption of the supply. There are more than 80 million packs crossing the channel every month, and those are finished packs, not even to talk about the supply and the development of medicines that often takes us across the channel quite a few times. So basically our members are investing a lot of time and resources to make sure that there's no interruption in that supply of medicines or in the global supply of medicines, because it reaches further than just the EU 27 or the UK. And we really urge the governments to come to a quick agreement, understanding the difficulties, or at least to look at the sector of healthcare in particular and make sure that everything is in place to avoid disruptions of any kind.
Absolutely, because the consequences are so enormous, aren't they? What you describe essentially is a mass collaboration across Europe, and that extends to your research centres as well, doesn't it?
Yes, correct. And so really we're looking for things like mutual recognition or other possible solutions if there were a free trade deal, for example, that would really ensure that everything continues as smoothly as possible.
Nathalie Moll, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.